his or her peers to represent them in graduation. The recipient of this honor receives a watch from the college. It is an honor to introduce this year's valedictorian, Luca Bellisario. I would ask Mr. and Mrs. Bellisario to please come forward to present the gift to their son.
Minutes of hardcore spiritual reflection regarding the concept of original sin, but somebody, I'm not going to name names, stole my thunder, so I'm There's an old Woody Allen joke that I feel is especially fitting for this graduating class. You guys are going to have to go back. There are two elderly women sitting at Catskills Mountain Resort, a restaurant. And one of them says, "Boy, the food at this place is just terrible." And the other one goes, "Yeah, I know. And such small portions." To Alan, that is how he feels about life. It's full of loneliness, sadness, and misery, but all over much too quickly. Not the best meal, and yet he still wishes there was more. To me, that's how I feel about Del. Going to school here may be a tough entree to swallow. The stress, the pressure, the struggle. This graduating class ate it all up. We asked for seconds. We loved every minute of it. Our time here was filled with long nights, bags under our eyes, tear-stained textbooks which filled oversized backpacks, which are probably the reason why most of us suffer from some form of debilitating spinal injury. Not blaming the school, but two dots make a line, and it's just how it is. Above all else, our time here was defined by exhaustive effort. And yet, for all the pain and suffering this fine institution caused us, mostly emotional, I can proudly say the lessons, friendships, and wisdom gained in these halls were accomplishments well worth working for. Good evening to the dedicated staff and administration, the supportive parents and friends of Del Salle, and most importantly, to the Del boys and girls, or should I say graduates of the 164th convocation. Looking around this auditorium, one thing is abundantly clear. The hard work paid off. Congratulations to everyone. Now, for all the uniform slips we got, I think it's safe to say we look pretty good tonight. So, first and foremost, thank you for allowing me to speak on your behalf. I am both humbled and privileged to be standing here one last time. As most of you know, I love talking about this school. It's something I do most. So thank you for this opportunity. Thank you also to Mr. Pupo for letting me talk. Don't worry, I won't bring up the thing about the thing that I told you not to bring up. Secret, shifty. Tournaments, storming the city of Rome together for a month. Or even the tiny moments. Personally, I loved the witty banter that took place in the balcony before assembly. You ever? All of this was only possible because of the charity, generosity, and hard work of our teachers, the administration, and most importantly, the parents. If you ask any Del student what makes the school great, they're not going to tell you the hockey team, they're not going to tell you the football team, definitely not going to tell you the football team. What they will tell you is that it is the staff, the cast of characters who are so dedicated that make this school truly extraordinary. On one hand, De La Salle draws from the conventional, traditional, hard-nosed Roman Catholic ideas of education. And on the other hand, it thrives as a lively place full of kind, quirky, and loud individuals, just like every great family. This begins and ends with the staff who taught us much more than the ministry required, both figuratively and literally. Likewise, the teachers at the school are renowned for their ability to empathize. I always felt that the teachers could sense when we were having a bad day. They really could visualize what it's like to walk a day in our shoes. This might be because a lot of them went to Del when they were in high school. That's fine, we only take the best, it's great. I shouldn't really talk because I'm probably going to be teaching at the school within the next 5 years. Say me, sweet brother. It's tough to turn these pages, my hands are so red from clapping for Sarah Break. in all seriousness, the bond between teachers and students at this school is solid, built on the foundation of mutual respect and a common goal. You can tell the teachers here love what they teach, or in the case of Mr. Hunt, love making us cry. He's not here, is he? For every laugh, there was a lesson learned. For every test or assignment, there was a story shared. For every moment of warmth in the classroom, there was one of those little Scantron cards attached. If the walls of this institution could talk, they would delight you with such erudite conversations that took place like this. But sir, both these Scantron answers are correct? I don't know what to do. Okay, well, they're both correct, but one of them is more correct. Do you understand? No, I don't understand. That doesn't make any sense. I'm going to put down the C. Undoubtedly, we have been blessed with a diverse collection of staff members who molded us with their unique views of the world and the dedication to back it up. While Mr. Searle and Mr. Vlahovic gave us the facts and formulas of the natural realm, it was Dr. Lowry who gave us a crash course in the metaphysical, as well as a crash course into why U of T is the greatest school ever made. While Madame Burlon and Mr. DeSanctis were always the epitomes of professionalism, it was Mr. Devenish who constantly reminded us to cultivate our wild side. Similarly, Mr. Hunt was the humble messenger, there to remind us that we might not be as smart as we think. He didn't use those words. He also told us that the classics would be a great place to start an education. Mr. Labriola, on the other hand, encouraged us to think outside the box of conventionality, and both these views were incredibly necessary in forming a well-grounded student. Mr. Netto made us want to travel the world and see the world's beauty, while Mr. Lutan and Mr. Shields, they gave us license to create our own beauty. For the past 8 years, Mr. Shields was a part of the music department, almost like a father figure to me. He put up with me playing out of tune since fall of 2009. Not to mention Mr. Bellisario, who was also like a father figure. While all wildly different, each teacher left his or her mark. From the hard work they assigned, the honest conversations they led, and the generous offer of time, they truly shaped who we've become, and for that we are forever grateful. No valedictorian speech could be complete without a thank you to Brother Dominic and Mr. Pupo. My respect for these two individuals begins with their dedication and passion for the Lasallian tradition. Thank you for working so hard and believing in us despite any disappointments. It has been an honor to be your students. Thank you. To the parents and guardians here this evening, is it immodest of me to say that you guys did a really good job raising us? Because I'm going to say it anyways. You are truly due the congratulations. Attending De La Salle is a maximum effort school. It demands the most from its students. Oddly enough, it also demands even more from parents. You were the ones there organizing our locker on that nerve-wracking first day. You packed our lunches at 5:30 in the morning before 7 a.m. practice. You were the ones there to put up with the constant bickering and complaining. But you supported us, good or bad, comforted us, kept us moderately sane. None of this would have been possible without you. Thank you to all the parents, and our only hope is that we continue to make you proud. Now to my esteemed peers and classmates. Words cannot describe how proud I am to have spent the last 8 years with this group. While you could describe this group as unique, I'd also like to believe that we fulfill the Lasallian tradition in our own little ways. Not unlike the dozens of other graduating classes, we were here working hard, we were strong-willed, and we were tightly knit. However, there are a few ways that we separated ourselves from the pack, these qualities that we should be very proud for. Namely, a fine sense of humor, above all else, defined this grade. No matter what struggles or obstacles stood in our way, exams, projects, the never-ending pressure, Netflix. This group of students always found a way to make a joke, to laugh, to smile, and to persevere. As the famous expression goes, I'd rather be a dull boy. Not many, however, know the full phrase. Why exactly would you rather be a Del Boy? Well, hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen. I'm about to give it to you raw, uncut. I'd rather be a Del Boy because Del Boys get to spend time with Del Girls. Our young ladies deserve a standing ovation. Academically, they anchored us. Socially, they were the lives of the party. Regarding all things LaSallian, the young ladies of this class bleed green and red with the best of them. Most importantly, guys, these strong female personalities taught us a very important lesson, which is 70% of the time, women are right 100% of the time. That's from Stats Canada, you can check that. When I think of what I'll miss most about this school, it's the little things that we got to share with one another. The unique words, phrases that only mean things to us. Like things like, I don't know, this hand motion, or poppy tubes. The other thing I really like is this blissful hum of silence that every student here has felt, whether it's in the auditorium, after assembly when everyone clears out, in the hallways when everyone's gone home, in the stairways when everyone's gone to class. You're standing there and you're alone, and you're surrounded by the school. You're surrounded by these pictures, the photographs of graduating classes in the past century. They're frozen in time the same way we stand here today, frozen. To me, that is the lesson we take away with us as LaSallians. While the entire world is telling us, out with the old, in with the new, De La Salle told us that there's much to learn from the past. When I look up at these walls, first, I feel a little scared about the uncertainty of the future, but then that fear turns into humility. I got to be a part of something like this, and that humility quickly turns into LaSallian inspiration. Would it be the old boys who graduated in the 50s and 60s with their nice jaws, their wholesome look, their Johnny Unitas crew cuts, or the less wholesome boys of the 70s and 80s with their Afro-firm mullet perms? Or even us? The haircuts might change, but the people are the same, LaSallians through and through. To quote a poem by T.S. Eliot, "For last year's words belong to last year's language, and next year's words await another voice. To make an end is to make a beginning. While we may have spent the greatest years of our young lives in these hallowed halls, laughing with one another, learning from one another, it is this final gesture of our LaSallian tradition to hang up these forest green blazers, regardless of missing buttons and ripped pockets, and to go forward, taking these experiences, these friendships, and making lives from them. It is our time to join the ranks of these great graduating classes, all 163 of them, to enter the frame and to ascend the wall, inspiring in the same way we were inspired, to live lives as LaSallian examples. I honestly believe there's no group of students more fit and prepared for the honorable task. Congratulations, graduates. We made it.